It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
The Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 1:44. Our next case is Mr. Kurt Hall. Mr. Hall, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
Good afternoon. My name is Kurt Hall. My DOC number is 316858.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow those persons who wish to have input to speak. Here today on your behalf is speaking is Ms. Christy Sheremy, a friend, Mr. Skylar Evans, your aunt, Ms. Tammy Young, your attorney, Mr. Robert Lancaster. I see Mr. Lancaster on Zoom, and also Thomas Aiello will be speaking. He is a friend. Also present but not speaking is Molly Sullivan, Merlin Renard, Hilton Hill, Natasha Hill, Deborah Mills Joe, Wanda Mills, Dean Christmas, Stephanie Hall, Joseph Parker, and Cedric Hall. Speaking in opposition will be Chiron Wells, Irvin Wells, and Sylvia Durand. After we have the hearing, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then Mr. Lancaster will close out to the board, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Kurt Hall, DOC number 316858, date of birth December the 23rd of 1973. He's classified as a first-time felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of April the 27th of 2023, an adjusted good time date of August the 22nd of 2040, full-term date of February the 17th of 2091. He was originally sentenced on a second-degree murder charge to life without parole on April the 27th of 2023. He was granted a commutation by Governor John Bell Edwards to 99 years. Does that sound accurate, Mr. Hall?
Yes, sir. Yes, it
Mr. Hall,
does.
your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. He will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Okay, Mr. Hall.
Absolutely, sir.
Mr. Hall, how old are you?
I'm 49 years old, sir.
Okay, how old were you when you were arrested for this charge?
I just made 18.
Okay. And what you've served, 31 years of your sentence?
32 years and approximately 8 months.
Okay. What's your educational level, Mr. Hall?
College graduate.
Did you graduate high school or you got your GED?
No, sir. I completed my GED after I arrived here, sir.
Okay. All right. I read the reports, Mr. Hall. It seems like that you and Mr. Wells were kind of having words over a woman.
Well, it wasn't per se over the young lady. It began in relation to her, but it wasn't a competition for her affections or anything. It was just a miscommunication. Tried to nip it in the bud early on. Unfortunately, it continued to escalate.
I saw where you made a statement in that you had talked to him 3 or 4 days before, and you thought it was worked out.
Yes, sir, I did.
So you thought everything was smooth, and then did you get some phone calls at your house?
Yes, sir, I did. I did receive a threatening phone call.
Okay.
And
Tell me,
the same thing that came over the phone call was repeated to me moments before the tragedy.
All right, let me ask you this now. Tell me the truth now. Tell me what happened that day.
Okay. On that particular day, my aunt, who was present that morning, the preceding night, she was in a situation where she broke her arm. I received a phone call that she needed transportation home, and I was dispatched to go to the hospital to pick her up. I went to all the hospitals in Baton Rouge, which was the Lady of the Lake. She wasn't there. I went to Baton Rouge General. She wasn't there. And then I finally made it to K Long, where she was. In taking her home, she lives in Maringouin, and I took her home. On the way back, I had some trouble with the car as far as the front bearings. One of them seemed to be going out. Made it back to Baton Rouge right as the sun was rising. I was reflecting somewhat over the conversation that we had been having back and forth in regards to the situation, both Marlon and myself. And I was trying to figure out how did after we would talk about it, how did it keep coming back up? So I made it home, let my father know I made it back in. He asked me, was I going to school? I said, well, of course I'm going to school. He said, no, I mean, are you driving or are you catching the bus? I said, well, sir, I'm going to catch the bus. He said, all right, well, you know, the bus will be in a moment. So I went on and took my shower, got dressed, came back out. As I was going out the door, I received the phone call rang. I mean, the phone rang. I picked up the phone, said, hello. Said, may I speak to Kurt? I said, this is he. The person on the other end said, unfortunately, I have to use this language. To be honest with you, nigga, this you and your family last day. I said, what? And the phone went dead. I walked out the door, proceeded to the bus stop. Got to the bus stop. I was kind of withdrawn and whatnot. A few people tried to talk to me. The bus showed up, got on the bus, proceeded to a seat, sat down. Arrived at school. I had been told the previous night during the course of that situation happening with my aunt, I received a phone call from the young lady who this supposedly surrounds, Miss Charlene Wells, telling me that, not Charlene Wells, Charlene Jones, that the next morning I was to be killed by Marlon because she hadn't been able to talk him out of it over the course of the weekend. And I'm like, well, can you call him so I can just talk to him, please? She said, well, he doesn't want to hear from you. He's made up his mind. I said, okay, well, fine. And as they approached me while I was standing in front of the school, the same thing, they were standing in, I mean, they were walking 2 in front. It was like 3 in the middle and 2 behind. As they were approaching me, I heard the same thing repeated that I had heard over the telephone. Can't say which one of them particularly said it, but nigga, this is you and your family's last day. At that time, my so-called friend handed me a weapon. The young lady told me that the younger brother was supposed to run up on me, punch me in my face, step to the side. And the older brother, unfortunately, the deceased, was supposed to empty his gun into my chest. So me looking at the situation unfolded, it kind of appeared to me like that was happening. So I accepted the weapon. As they passed, I raised a firearm and discharged the weapon, thinking that my life was in danger.
What effect do you think this crime has had on the young man's family?
It has changed the dynamic of their family completely because I'm responsible for taking something from them that they can't never get back. I can't live through the pain that they've suffered. I mean, like, this is the holiday time of year. I know they would love to have their loved one home with them and have them back. I wish I can give that back to them. Unfortunately, this is a situation that's irreversible and I have to live with it. And that's why, since this unfortunate tragedy, I've devoted my life to trying to be not only a better person, but to help others become a better person. Because this is a pain that only God can take away from them. And I pray for them, even though they don't, they may not know it. I pray for them and I pray for their healing, because there's nothing I can do beyond the things that I'm doing to try to live in honor of their loved one memory. I mean, I never really wanted this for Marlon. I wanted us to be at peace. And it just seemed to me like this situation just kept bubbling over. And if there's anything that I can do in order to aid them in the healing process, as I expressed during the clemency hearing, I'm willing to, whatever dynamics, counseling, whatever it is that we might have to do, if I can make a contribution to their healing, I'm willing to do so.
A friend of Mr. Duran is opposed to you getting out. A friend of Mr. Wells, his sister Dana is opposed to you getting out. I think some of them are here to speak. Is this your only arrest in your lifetime?
Yes, sir. I don't have no arrests, no tickets, no anything, sir.
What kind of community service do you do at the prison?
At this present time, currently the president over Alcoholics Anonymous. We have a lot of guys who are drug dependent, and we kind of like combine Alcoholics Anonymous with Narcotics Anonymous, and we try to find guys who are in need and give them an opportunity in order to reestablish their lives outside of drugs and alcohol. It's a great body of work because many people come here dependent upon drugs, but it's one that we're committed to. I help raise funds for the purposes of donating to different things that are needed as far as like the Cancer Society, breast cancer research and what have you. And this is one of the things that we're devoted to doing as not only as an individual, but as a group, because I inspire those with whom I come in contact with to really do, what it is, because we've all committed wrongs that we need to make right. And we can't necessarily make it directly right, but we can show society that we're remorseful for the things that we've done that led us to this situation and to those whom we have made victims.
What are your plans when you get out?
Initially, I'm a construction worker. I'm scheduled to become, go back into doing construction, something I used to do during the summers. But beyond that, I am in negotiations with some persons, if so allowed, to make parole in order to try to do an outreach program, perhaps a nonprofit outreach program, in order to take the tragic dynamic that we experience here, where Marlon lost his life because of my actions, to go into those schools and whatnot to see to it that other children understand how volatile these situations can be. And I actually want to go in and help them understand this dynamic so no other family has to go through this.
Where are you going to live?
I'm going to be living in New Road, sir.
Okay, who are you going to live with in New Roads?
My aunt Tammy, who's present here and in support.
Okay. What's your aunt's last name?
Young.
Young?
Yes, sir.
You have any medical problems?
Only thing I'm dealing with right now is high blood pressure. Trying to keep that stabilized.
You only have 4 write-ups, which is a great record for someone that's been in Angola for as long as you've been there. I think the last one was in 2000.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay. You're low risk, low need. Just quickly, because I don't have down here, but you took a few classes, and I got a feeling you took more than that. Name some of the classes you took.
Thinking for a Change, Victims Awareness, the classes that were offered by Alcoholics Anonymous prior to arising to the state of being president. I've taken Living in Balance, Moral Compass, because I think that when we look at the state of our current society, we really can use Moral Compass in order to get ourselves back on track. And that's one of those things, like I said, I've given my life over to try to make a change, to try to make a difference and better the lives of others. And I'm committed to that effort. I've even contacted both Honorable District Attorney Hiller Moore and Honorable District Attorney Mr. Tony Clayton to let them know that whatever programs that they may have established or have a need to establish, I'm willing to sit down and work with them in order to try to turn the dynamic of the young society around.
Ward, do you have any comments?
He's been a Class A trustee since 2008. He's been working as an inmate counsel since 2002. Most recently, for institutional need, we had his job. He moved over to being a road walker for us. So he's been getting up in the morning and keeping the grounds clean, and then get back in the afternoon, take a shower, and go do his legal counsel work. So he's been busy. We've not had any problems whatsoever.
I am.
Thank you, Warden.
Yes, I do. You didn't mention, aren't you a certified paralegal in 2002? You got that certification?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I did. That's, I mean, it's so common in that, I mean, I've been doing it for over 20 years. So, it's just kind of like what I do.
Right. So, and then you didn't mention that. So when you get out, you're not planning on using any of your paralegal skills. You said you're going to go into construction.
No, it's not that. In regards to the job plan that we're required to turn in, that was a job that I had an immediate access to. But there are persons who have asked me would I be interested in the prospect of a job in New Orleans as a case worker for guys who are coming into the system to try to help change that dynamic and work with them in order to help them understand the gravity of their actions. So helping them understand the gravity of their actions and being a support paralegal, that can kind of like go hand in hand. So I'm willing to do that if that job is still available as the guy offered to me. So
Great. I'm glad to hear that. And also, I'll speak to some of the community service that you've done at the prison. Some kind the annual meals for the seniors and the Christmas gift bags. Speak to some of that. I just want that on the record.
Well, we have a situation here where our population is aging out, and not everyone. I mean, when you spend decades and decades of years incarcerated, you kind of like lose touch with family. People, pass away and they die off. So we don't have a lot of guys who have family support, and that's where we as clubs, we reach out, we come together as a group, and we'll take portions of the monies that we've raised through selling food in the visiting room or at the rodeo, and we'll pool that money together so that we can buy them socks, shirts, shoes, and things that they need, because they're human too. And we need to learn how to express our humanity to others and show everyone that their individual worth. That's an absolute necessity. And us as Alcoholics Anonymous, because we have an influx of people who are coming in off the street, and many of them came in with drug and alcohol habits, we try to catch them early on so that we can sit them down and say, look, you have, although you have a sentence, you also have an opportunity. And that opportunity extends to this. You can become a part of this organization and discover your own personal greatness. And in so discovering your greatness, you will find that the rewards that you receive, both spiritual and moral, exceed any monetary value that you can place on what you're going to participate in.
Good. I just wanted that for the record. So are you planning on residing with the Louisiana Parole Project for any period of time, or are you going straight to your aunt's house?
No, ma'am. I'm going to, me and Andrew Hunley spoke several years ago about the possibility of this day coming. And we also spoke about some matters with regards to things that we can do to assist Mr. Clayton on the west side of Baton Rouge. So I'm going there to learn from Mr. Hunley, whatever it is that he has to offer. If
Going there where? Sorry, you going there where?
First, going to the Parole Project, if allowed.
Okay, good. Okay. I just want to see. Now, I had an opportunity to tour Angola last Thursday. I was in the law library with the Grambling State University students. Were you in there?
Yes, ma'am. I was in when you all first came in and sat down. But also by me being president over each day, there were some things that I had to go take care of in regards to that, to make certain that we had some of these things come in that we need for these elderly prisoners.
So you didn't spend no time with us?
No, ma'am, I didn't get duty calls.
All right, I understand that. I gotta respect that. All right, thank you for answering my questions.
Did you realize at the time she was on the parole board?
No, sir, I didn't. Because we have people that come in from all over the state, and then sometimes we have people that come in from out of state, and often they want us to speak to them about our personal experience. And
I was just kidding.
The situation there is.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there as a student at Grambling State University, a PhD student at Grambling State University. So that's the hat I had on that day.
Okay, all right. Oh yeah, all right. I remember.
Yeah,
they pulled down about here. Yes, I remember.
She had her scarf on too, right?
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Now we'll hear from your supporters. We'll hear from Ms. Christy Sheremy with the Louisiana Parole Project. Ms. Sheremy?
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Board. Christy Sheremy here with Louisiana Parole Project. We just want the board to know that we wholeheartedly support Mr. Hall, if he is granted today. He will come through our extensive programming, phase 1. And once he has completed our phase 1 programming, he will then reside with his aunt in New Roads. And so we just wanted that to be on record that he is accepted, and we will provide all services and programming to Mr. Hall if all goes well today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll hear from Mr. Skylar Evans. Mr. Evans?
Hi, it's Miss Evans.
It's Skylar Evans. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. My name is Skylar Evans. I'm a sophomore at the University of Alabama, majoring in political science with a minor in communications. And I've known Mr. Hall for as long as I can remember. He's always been very encouraging and supportive. And when I first expressed that I wanted to go into law, he would send me cases that he had studied before and different books to read that just encouraged me to continue on this path. And now I'm a sophomore with a 4.0 GPA, and I would love to see him be able to do this for other students and other people in our community. So I would love for the Pardon Board to grant his request. And thank you for the opportunity for letting me speak today.
Thank you for speaking. Now we'll hear from Mr. Thomas Aiello, who is a friend.
Hi, yes, I am. I'm Thomas Aiello. I am a professor of history at Valdosta State University in Georgia. I met Kurt a couple of years ago, and I can truly say that he is the model for what parole should be. He made a mistake as a kid and has spent more of his life in jail than not. He's been a paralegal longer than he was a free person, and yet he has spent all of his time while in there gaining certificates, gaining education, all specifically to help other people. He is constantly learning new things. He teaches me things a great deal about the Louisiana penal system, about the law, about history, 3 subjects that I am considered to be an expert in. And everything he does for others. He is not a model prisoner. He is a model human being, and he deserves nothing more than to be with us in the world. And I'm grateful to be able to talk to you today.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your comments. Now we'll hear from your aunt, Miss Tammy Young. Shum?
Hi, I'm Tammy Young. I'm the aunt of Kurt Hall, and my take on this, Kurt will be coming and staying with us if given permission to be let out. He will be staying with us. We'll make sure that he get to work and have transportation to and from, and we have an extra room. He's welcome to stay. Kurt made a mistake as a young kid. I understand that it was wrong, absolutely. But the young man that we're seeing today, I've seen him progress and change. He never gave up on his education, and he's a good person. He made a mistake, but he's a good person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we'll hear from the opposition, Mr. Sharon Wells. Mr. Wells? Mr. Wells, are you there, sir?
He's on mute.
Mr. Wells, we think you're on mute.
Yes, it's on mute now.
We can hear you now. If you would introduce yourself, sir, and tell us what you'd like us to hear.
He's actually not going to speak. I'm going to speak. I'm the sister of Marlon. And my name is Sylvia Wells Duran. So I'll be speaking today.
Thank you.
First of all, I've been listening to everything. And yes, it's been difficult for my family. We've endured this a few months ago as well. I'm glad, and it's good that Kurt is progressing and doing things, but Marlon is not here to do those things. You would really have to know Marlon to know who he was and the things that God the gifts that he received from God as well. Without really trying to get too emotional, we miss him daily. Kirk, just like us all, made a choice, even at the age of 18. There are consequences to everything that we do. He made a choice, and what he's doing now is wonderful. But I'm opposed to him getting out. Let him continue to do the wonderful things where he is. If he's reaching out to individuals outside of the prison, that's fine. In addition to that, I just don't believe, and I'm saying, and I know, much of the things that he said is not the truth. And I just have to be honest. And that is. And he knows it, but that's okay. God knows as well. But I do. These are things that's really been on me. And this is the first time, and I thank you all, this is the first time that I've been able to actually speak and to really be concerned. I guess if you would just kind of, if the shoe was on the other foot, would his family feel the same? We do. I mean, we forgive, but we can't forget about what's going on or what done happened. And it's difficult. But like I say, I would prefer him to continue to do his good deeds, but do his good deeds where he is. He was sentenced. Now, the sentence was life without the possibility of probation or parole. If laws have changed, I mean, I would like to know. I understand, and I've been listening, and I've heard some things about laws changing. We don't know that as a family. You know, we don't be told that if you're not experiencing death or whatever, how do we know, or over the years, how do we know about the laws? And that an individual can come up for probation or parole. We didn't know that. When he got the sentence, it was said without the possibility of probation or parole. So now, yes, that bothers us. And for us to keep having to relive this, it hurts. It hurts. But I applaud him for his many duties. But like I say, on the other side of that, Marlon doesn't have that opportunity. Wished he could have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duran. Thank you for your comments. They were heartfelt and we heard. Thank you. Is Mr. Irvin Wells wish to speak? I have him on the list as well. Does he wish to speak? Mr. Rand, here with you?
Yes, I'm here.
Wells, anything you'd like to tell the board?
Yes, sir. I just thank y'all for the opportunity to speak. My name is Irvin Wells, and I'm Marlon's father. And, this has been a tragic situation from the beginning. And I love my son like I do the rest of my kids. Also, we didn't know a lot of this was going on until the trial. And from what I'm hearing Mr. Hall say, some of the things that didn't come out in the trial. And that's what bothered me. We have the transcript and everything. And Mr. John Sankville was the district attorney. He knows. So I don't hate Kurt Hall. I didn't raise my kids that way. At the same time, he has to pay his debt to society. And Marlon is not here to defend himself. And as a parent, that was a horrible crime. It was done at a school. It was just some things going on that just didn't add up. And at this point, I still object to Kurt's parole. But I don't hate him, and I don't want no bad things to happen to him. But Marlon is gone. I don't have Marlon. And you know, when his birthday come around, the holidays come around, and he was a good young man. I mean, I'm not saying that because he's my son, but he was. And so at this time, I object to his parole. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. Appreciate your comments. Mr. Hall, is there anything that you'd like to say before we turn it over to Mr. Lancaster to close out?
Once again, sir, I thank you all for this opportunity. I thank the victim's family for their candid, you know, and their expressions of their emotions. I understand and I respect that. And again, as I've written in my letters, you know, I'm sorry for the pain that I caused you and your family. And I wish I could give you that restoration. I will continue to pray that God heals the holes in your heart. And again, if there's any contribution that I can make towards helping you all heal, I submit to that. I thank the board again for hearing us all. And I will respect whichever decision is made by the board. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Lancaster?
Good evening, Mr. Maravella. So Kurt comes before the committee today with a grant of clemency from the governor. He was before the board not too long ago. He was originally scheduled for parole in October, and so I appreciate the committee's rescheduling for December and staff at LSP for accommodating the hearing today. I just want to add a few things that are important to mention. One, in a way, this case is a full circle in a way for me representing Kurt. He has had his paralegal certificate for quite some time, and he's continued to study paralegal for quite some time. And a part of that was studies through the LSU clinic when we did a paralegal program with prisoners at a number of institutions. Kurt was one of the students in that program, extremely bright, as you can see with the hearing today. He does have a low titer score, as was mentioned. Ms. Wise, I think, called out the community service that he does at Angola, specific to helping people at the institution that don't have family support, especially times like this around the holidays when other people, you know, that they know in prison has family coming in to visit. Kurt, through his leadership, has really created a program to give them a space and a community in the prison. And I think that's notable and valuable. Going back to his paralegal work, his inmate counsel work, he's been doing that for a while. What wasn't mentioned at the hearing was that he probably does that in the most difficult place in the prison as far as clients. He goes to TU, the treatment center. He goes to the hospital. He's dealing with clients as inmate counsel with mental health issues, which takes a lot of patience, really effective communication skills. And Kurt has done that and done that quite well. He does have a high level of support. He's got a viable reentry plan with the Parole Project. And I think as many clients of the Parole Project who continue to contribute and give back, not only in addressing issues that lead people to prison, but also going and assisting people continuing to be in prison, to give them inspiration, to demonstrate to them that release is possible when you do the right thing, when you put your mind in the place of really working forward on your rehabilitation. I think most everything else that I had noted was mentioned with Kurt's interview. We will ask that this committee grant his release on parole under whatever conditions you deem appropriate. He no longer poses a risk to public safety. He will be successful on the outside and continue to serve his sentence in the community, and he will do that at the same time continuing to contribute to his community. So we pray that this committee grant him early release. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lancaster. Before we vote, it's been noted to me that I forgot to ask the staff at LSP to introduce themselves. Warden, if you would introduce yourself and whatever other staff members you have there so we can get you all in the record.
Yes, sir. Deputy Warden Tracy Falgood.
Reginald Lamoureux, classification.
Kiana Rose, classification.
Carmen Shipley, offender records.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Hall. First off, to the Wells family, I appreciate greatly you showing up here today. You know, as you stated, the shoe's not on the other foot. You've lived it, you've been through it, and I know it's very tough on you and your husband. I think both of you could tell really loved your son. On the other hand, we have to look at what you've done, Kurt. You were young when this happened, very young. You still didn't do the right thing, believe me. You know, I hate when people call it mistakes because a mistake is an error. Killing someone isn't just a mistake. I mean, it's a lot more serious. But you've done well in prison. You've done everything you're supposed to do. You had a terrific disciplinary record. You help other inmates anytime you can. And I think the parole project is going to be where you need to go first. And then with your aunt, you have a lot of catching up to do. And I will tell you this right now on the record, Tony Clayton's going to work you to death. I'm from Point Capee Parish, and Tony's trying to get to our youth. And you're the perfect person to deliver that word because you were pretty much a youth when you committed this crime. So my vote today is to grant to the parole project and follow any of their recommendations. Also, you are to stay away from the victim's family, period. Okay, if you see them somewhere, you go the other way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Wise.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Wells families, my deep condolences to the Wells family. There are no words. And I just said thank you. I appreciate your courage to participate today. And we hear you. We hear you. Mr. Hall, you did a great harm. You acknowledged that, you say so. You did the healing that you needed to do, and you've been helping others. And you didn't just start yesterday. You did that long before you had any chance of a day out. You did the right thing because it was the right thing. That speaks volumes to me. My vote is to grant as well. Positive warden comments, excellent community service at the prison, low risk, excellent programming, and excellent family support. I wish you well. My only recommendation is what you're going to do anyway, 8 hours a month of community service, and as you stated, in memory of Marion Wells. Somehow or another fashion that in his memory. Beginning about 1 year after release, because you got a lot to do. You're going to be doing community service anyway, but for your parole supervision, 8 hours a month, 1 year after release. And that includes your preparation time and all that. And however you want to do it, you're multi-talented. So you can go pick up trash at a senior's house, you can paint, you can just do whatever, but give back to the community in memory of that young man. And one of the things I did note in the record that you said you talked to people to try to get this resolved, and the adults didn't help. And so you got to talk to us too, not just young people at risk, but talk to us adults too, because they probably just dismissed it, thought y'all just boys just being boys, and it wasn't that, and we didn't hear you. The adults didn't hear you. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Ms.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. To the Wells family of Ms. Duran, I would like to thank you for being here. And I can tell you, we hear a lot of the victims' families speak to us. the compassion and the courage that you showed here today in discussing with us your feelings. We do appreciate it. I do agree with my colleagues that Mr. Hall has worked hard. He's done a lot while he's been in prison. He's been in prison a long time. Such a young man when he came in. My vote likewise would be the same, to grant his parole to the Louisiana Parole Project and to follow all of the recommendations of the Louisiana Parole Project, have no contact whatsoever with the victims, and do at least 8 hours of community service work in the community. You've indicated you want to work with both Mr. Tony Clayton and Mr. Helen Moore. I think those are excellent ideas, and I'm sure that both of them will put you to work. Good luck to you. See your parole has been granted.
Thank everyone. I appreciate you.
We'll be adjourned at 2:24. Warden, thank you very much for your help.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.